Ils m'ont barré le chemin, ils m'ont barré le chemin, ils m'ont barré le chemin. I just returned from Yosemite, California, where I free climbed a route on El Capitan called Golden Gate. And today I'm going to tell you what was in my haul bag during our 6-day ascent. So first of all, I had a pretty heavy-duty haul bag for carrying all the stuff with me up the cliff for 6 days. A sleeping bag, probably 15 degree or so for sleeping at night. MSR reactor stove for boiling water. I brought really good ground coffee with me and an AeroPress. So every morning this was the first thing I did. Justin's nut butters, because I love them and they're super easy to carry. Voke caffeine tabs, could not live without those things. They definitely kept me going during some dark moments. A little bit of a skin kit, so super glue, tape, and ibuprofen for maintaining my skin. Petzl Tika XP headlamp. I also always carry a medical kit with me up there. If any sort of injury happens, you need to know how to deal with it pretty soon. A waist case, which is for going to the bathroom. We never went to the bathroom on the wall and left it there. We carried it with us the whole way. We climbed with a 9.8 millimeter rope, a Petzl Contact, 70 meters. I used a Hirundos harness, a Meteor helmet. I climbed with a helmet at all times on El Cap. My La Sportiva women's Mira Velcros. Number 6 Camelot was probably my most favorite and my least favorite piece of gear that I brought with me, because this was what I climbed the monster off with. Absolutely terrifying and horrific and torturous. Another piece of gear that was absolutely essential was the micro traction. It was for hauling the bag. It's super light and small. Petzl Grigri 2. A Petzl Reverso for belaying the second, also for rappelling and any sort of emergencies, with 2 attaché beaners attached, lockers. 2 Ascension aiders for jumaring and also for hauling the bag. And then, of course, a standard rack of cams and nuts. This is what was in my haul bag, and this is essentially what got me up Golden Gate. Ils m'ont barré le chemin. Sois toujours croyant, pas toujours croyant, 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 croyant.
Mon temps c'était sympa. Encore les collants, les harnais fluo, des chaussettes dans les chaussons.
Heureusement, ça n'a pas duré, ça.
Ah, ouais. Et tu te rappelles l'histoire de l'Américain qui était...
Oh, c'est bon, là, ça fait 25 ans qu'on les entend, vos histoires. Je suis sûr qu'il va encore nous raconter la fois où il a arrêté la chute du gars qui tombe en essayant de clipper
le relais avec sa corde dans la main. Oui.
Ah, mais faut se bouger, là, la grimpe, c'est en Espagne que ça se passe. Tiens, d'ailleurs, quand j'étais en train de taper un run dans mon projet la semaine dernière...
Qui c'est qui vient avec moi à la falaise?
Mais qui t'es, toi?
Good evening, everyone, and I am Allison, and you are joining me here at SMU Gravical 2018 here at the SMU Campus Green. So if you have just joined us, we are about to go into our Open Women's Semifinals. Today we have seen quite a huge bit of excitement with our Open qualifiers earlier on in the afternoon, and then our Open Men qualifiers later after that in the early evening. And now we are heading straight into our Open Women's Semifinals. Our Open Men's Semifinals will be happening tomorrow morning at around 9:25. We can already see the wall. If you were here for the Open qualifying, you can see the problems do look more challenging than they did in the qualifying. So what the qualifying does is that the qualifying round will sift out the top 20 climbers. And this time round, we had 39 Open women climbers that were fighting for the top 20 spots. They competed earlier this afternoon in 2 details. in a session format of 25 minutes. Now we are just about to start, and out on the mat we have Charmaine Lai. Charmaine Lai is now going to get onto her first route.
So for the Open Women Semifinals,
We've had a bit of a technicality.
we're going to pause for all due to some technical errors.
The technicality issue with the stopwatch here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now we have started our route 1. She has 3.5 minutes on this problem. 3.5 minutes to complete this problem. And how this format is going to be run, it's called a rotational format. And each climber is gonna have 3.5 minutes to try the problem, and in between each problem they will have 3.5 minutes of rest, and they will come out one by one and then move down one by one from problem to problem. At some point later on there will definitely be a climber at every single problem, but for now, as Charmaine has just started, she is the only climber out on problem 1. As we watch her tackle this first problem, let's take a look at who we have in our Open Women's Semifinals. We have Charmaine Lai, Nadra Binti, Aisha Pointer from UWC Dover, Florence Loy from NUS, Wacha Riwan Thomas, also known as Ploy, from Pro Climber Thailand. We have Patrice Claire from Boulder Movement, Uyanga, Daryl Ngwe, Team Onsite, Tiffany Soy, Debbie Tan from SIT, Felicia Lim, All Sports Equipment, Climber Rig and Nutrition Depot, with Farah Hanisa from SUSS, Patama, Aya Ono, Tan Shihui from Climb Asia, Shi Li Ting, Climb Asia, Jeanette Goh Hui Chen from All Sports Equipment, Vanessa Tang, Kinetics Climbing, SMU, Nadia Putri from Team All Sports, and finally Judith Sim. So the climbers will be climbing in a reverse order from their qualifying positions. So the last will be first and the first shall be last. She came quite close at that point. It's quite a high jump dyno that she has to get, but it's also a coordination movement of where she puts her feet and also a fast reaction. So we saw in the qualifiers that they had a coordination problem as well. But this one's a bit more tricky because it doesn't just go to the right side, it also goes up. And she has just under a minute left. And what is different, the main difference from this format and the session format is that she only has the window of time to work on this one problem. She won't be able to touch any other problem in this 3.5 minutes. Unlike the session format where they were climbing in 25 minutes and they had all that time to do all the problems, but they also had to queue. So this one, no queue. But also it's 3.5 minutes of consistently hitting the wall for one problem. And Charmaine is done. She's got 5 seconds left. She's moving on to get her 3.5 minutes of rest. Up on the wall now, we have Nadra Binti Yusri, and you can see on your screen we have Charmaine at the side. Nadra has just stepped up to the plate for her first attempt. So this is scored similarly to the qualifying. It will be number of tops and attempt to tops, as well as number of bonuses and attempts to bonus. Of course, being able to top the problem is the best option. But if you're not able to top the problem, getting to the bonus is the next best option. Is getting to the bonus could very easily determine whether you come in last or you come in second last, or whether you make it or you just scrape through for your semi-finals. Also, if there is a strict tie between any of the finalists, for example, if there is number 6 and number 7 that are exactly tied together, there is a possibility that their results from their qualifying positions will determine which one of them will get into the finals. Only the top 6 climbers from the top 20 that we are watching today will be competing tomorrow in the Open Finals. Nadra is down to her last minute. Taking into consideration that these are the top 20 climbers of the Open Women qualifiers, and so far we haven't seen someone make it to the second hole, much less to the bonus. This problem must be quite a feat to complete. There is still 15 seconds on the clock, but I think Nadra has decided that she's done. We have Charmaine that will come back on, stepping up to the plate quite soon to route 2.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big round of applause for Nadra.
And joining us out on the mat is Aisha Pointer, climbing for UWC C Dover.
Aisha is from UWC SCA Dover. From LA climbers.
And Charmaine has gotten to her start with Aisha Pointer on screen now, figuring out how she needs to. Okay, so from what Aisha just did, what she really needs to do is she needs to coordinate the jump, switch her feet, and then she needs to catch the next handhold, and then her foot needs to land on the square that's just right there. So it's actually in that one move, about 4 or 5 different things have to happen. We have Charmaine just acing it, going all the way up. She gets her bonus on route 2. Very strong start. Little bit stuck there. It was a very good start though. Aisha still giving it. So in the session format or flash format, they are forced to really rest between each attempt because they can't go again if there is someone queuing up behind them. The thing about this 3.5 minutes rotation is that they don't get that forced rest. They only get to rest after the 3.5 minutes. So what they are really doing is going head first on the problem consistently for 3.5 minutes. And a normal bouldering problem should take about maybe 45 seconds to 1.5 minutes at the most to complete. So to continue and consistently go at that rate for 3.5 minutes, it really takes a toll on the body. and sometimes the first attempt is your best attempt. Oh, Aisha came very close there. For Route 2, just the start in itself is quite a challenge. It is a run start, and the start holes are quite far up off the ground. The climbers are down to their last minute. Charmaine is giving it another go. She's gotten her bonus. They're down to their last 30 seconds. Aisha still giving it her all. And they both called it a day for those routes. Joining us out on the mat is Florence Loy from NUS, and back up is Nadra on Route 2. Florence Loy on Route 1 and Nadra on Route 2. We saw very strong coordination technique from Florence in the qualifying. But the thing about this, as I mentioned, is that she's not just having to go to the right, but she has to go to the right and she has to go up. And Nadra is having a bit of a problem with starting the route, so she has to start the route at the starting handhole, which is actually quite far up. But before that, she has to run up onto the starting foothole. And that in itself can be a challenge. And Florence has caught the coordination. She's at the bonus tile. She's the first one to have gotten to the bonus tile. Nadra has made it up to the start. And Florence has made it up to the second last hole. Dicey now, she's hanging on. Amazing fight, amazing strength there. Moving slowly, trying to get her body over. Allez, Florence. She's so close, she's right next to the top. She may have missed that top, but she did get the jump, and this is the first time we've seen someone get that bonus tile. Florence and Nadra both have slightly over a minute, but that looked like it took quite a lot out of Florence to get up there. Once they finish the coordination and they get into the jump, then they get into the bonus and they get their foot on that box. Then they have to push sideways all the way to the top tile, which is also very far away. They're also plastered against the wall. There's also an incline at the top, which makes it a little bit difficult to position herself. And Nadra just got pulled off the wall, possibly for a false start. Florence going again. She's got 26 seconds left. She's going to go for it. And Florence is done. We're left with Nadra on the wall.
10 seconds.
And Nadra has also called it a day for this route. Joining us out now is our 5th climber of this open semi-finals, Wachariwan Thomas Ploy from Pro Climber Thailand.
That's right, and on route 2, we have Aisha
And on route 2, we welcome back to the mat Aisha Pointer. And on route 3, we have Charmaine Lai. I think it is worth noting that we have quite a number of international climbers that have joined us at SMU Gravical, and in the semi-finals there are quite a few of them. We have Thailand being represented, we have Japan being represented together with our local Singapore climbers. And it really is an international, a regional sport at least, for the climbers to come here in Singapore to take part in a university competition. It really is an international community, and everybody knows everyone, which really makes this a very nice, big, worldwide family. Charmaine still at the start. So if you've just joined us, we are currently in our 5th cycle of the Open Women semi-finals. These Open Women climbers climbed this afternoon, early on in the afternoon, and they qualified in the Open Women qualifiers. They came in top 20, and now they are climbing for the top 6 positions in order to compete tomorrow night in the Open Women finals. Currently on the mats, we have Charmaine, and Charmaine has just caught the big volume that looks about as big as her. And we have Ploy trying to get up route 1. It really is a moment where you've caught what you feel is a crux, like to the climbers, what we call a very hard move is the crux of the route. But when we look at these open routes that we have here, it's almost as if it is a crux after another crux after another crux, and it's very difficult to catch a break. So every single move that they're making is important, and every single twitch of the hand or a step of the foot could really change whether they stick the tile or whether they slip or whether they miss it. They have 5 seconds left.
2, 1.
And we're on to our 6th rotation. Welcoming out to the mat, Patrice Claire from Boulder Movement. Patrice is also my co-commentating partner, but I'm flying solo right now because she's out there. Give her all your cheers. And back up on route 3, we have Nadra. Patrice was really close there. She's gotten the coordination section of it. And Nadja now, at this point in time, it's worth noting that this is her 3rd route already, which means she has given it her all for at least 7 minutes and taken 7-minute rest as well. Patrice came so close there. The atmosphere here is crazy. If you are not here with us, but you are at home, do cheer very hard at home. The atmosphere here has just gotten, it's still very chilly. It's been a very cold day. Everybody here is tucked in, huddled under the shelter. Still drizzling outside. A lot of cheers, a lot of oohs, a lot of ahs. Everybody getting joined in to cheer on the climbers. Nadra's got one hand. And she gets the volume. Nadra's got the volume. It's a nice sit in there. There she is. Trying to figure out, it's one volume after another volume with very small screw-ons. And Patrice, so close. Allez, Patrice. Patrice and Florence and Nadra have 1 minute left on the clock. Less than a minute. And she's going to keep hitting it until she catches that. Nadra has made it up a bit higher. She's back. She's where she was just now. Last 30 seconds. Allez, climbers. She has 10 seconds left.
10 seconds.
She's done. The climbers have called it a day for their routes. Now moving on to their resting time, 3.5 minutes. Into our 7th rotation, we have Uyanga, who has just joined us on the mat. On route 2, we have Ploy. Route 3, we have Aisha Pointer. And on route 4, her final route for the semi-finals, we have Charmaine Lai. So if you would like to see what the scores might look like now, we are into our last route for Charmaine Lai, which means 1 rotation has already been completed. Chloe trying to use the side wall there. You can go to gravical.crimp.rocks to check out the live scoring. So as you are watching the wall, we can take a look at the problems, the creativity of the problems. Climbing has certainly evolved. Climbing has evolved since when I started, and I only started a mere 2 years ago. So climbing is really a growing sport, and it's changing in creativity. And the problems we have here today at this competition are brought to you by our guest route setter, Tobias Dittler. But overall, our supporting climbing gym is Kinetics Climbing, and they have provided the route setters from Kinetics, Chinle, Moses, and Jay. And if you would like to take a look at more problems that are as creative as this, but in a wider range, you know, more levels to try, more difficulties to try, do check them out. It's only a short walk from Fair Park MRT. They've got 70 boulder problems ranging from V0 to V12, over 70 boulder problems. And what V0 to V12 basically means is that they cater to beginners as well as hardcore advanced climbers. Ploy has gotten her bonus. She is 1 hold away from the top. And as we remember these green holes, they are very deceiving. They look very deep, as if they are very nice to hold. But actually, the texture on the inside, it is not as deep as it looks on the outside. It is quite a shallow dip, which we can't really see from the front. And from what Patrice said just now, they can't really see it from where they are either. And Charmaine is still at route 4 with 10 seconds left. she's done. She's called it a day. Uyanga's called it.
3, 2, 1.
Moving on to our 8th rotation. Joining us on the mat is Daryl Ngwei, climbing for Team Onsite. And as I was mentioning just now about kinetics climbing, they are located at 511 Serangoon Road. Again, very close to Farrer Park MRT, so do check them out. They have a really nice slab wall and also a very nice section of dynamic problems, which is very close to the variety of problems we have seen over the last 3 days of dynamic as well as static and really technical, creative problems, especially creative use of various volumes and of different shapes. So we have Patrice back up on route 2. Nadra currently climbing her final problem. And Patrice starts the route. So because there is a really nice mix of variations of techniques and moves in all these problems, climbers really need to be multifaceted. It's very easy to say that I only like a certain type of route, I only like a certain type of problem and a certain style. But when you're in a competition, it's very difficult to know what style is going to come out and what style you're going to get. So the best way is to train in situations where you are uncomfortable. It's a bit like taking medication, I guess. You know, you need to take the bitter pill in order to get a bit better. We have Patrice hanging there. And they have 3.5 minutes. And how their attempts are counted is their attempt on the wall. So as long as Patrice is on the wall, she can rest for as long as she wants. I mean, not longer than 3.5 minutes. And they have 1 minute left. Patrice did something quite impressive just now. What would you call what she did? She got herself into a hook. It would be a bat hang, but not exactly, because she wasn't trying to bat hang herself. She was trying to get to the next tile backwards to go sideways, but she slipped off and ended up in a hang, but she went for it anyway. A bit of a dangerous position to fall in, but a good thing was that it was a bit low. But it was very impressive because she still managed to hang on even after her slip and with a hook. And we would call it a bat hang, half a bat hang, I guess. Bat hanging would be hanging from your legs, and she almost did it, if not for the slip. And we had Nadra that climbed all the way to the bell, so she climbed all the way to the last second. And joining us now in our 9th rotation is Tiffany Soy, a very familiar face in our climbing scene. And on her second route for the night is Uyanga, and route 3 we have Ploy. And Tiffany is up at the bonus. She made the jump, made the coordination. She's now at a bonus. She's in the same position that Florence was in just now. If I'm not mistaken, she's only the second climber who's made it up to that position. And it's a dicey move to the top. And hanging on there is incredibly taxing to her arms and to her body in that position because she's having to fight gravity as the wall is on a bit of an incline. She came so close. Very far fall. But holding on to that for such a long time would have taken quite a lot out of her, which is a similar situation that we saw Florence in just now, where it took a lot out of her to stay there for such a long time trying to get to the top. So we're really going to have to see if Tiffany has it in her in the last minute to get up there again. She's definitely going to go again. She's got 1 more minute. It's more than enough time to finish the problem. It's a matter of whether she still has it in her to get up to that point again, to try another attempt for the top. Because it just gets so much more difficult once you put a lot of effort into a single attempt. Especially if even the first move is a crux. With Aisha Pointer on her less than 30 seconds left on her final route of this semi-finals. Let's take a look at live scoring right now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we have not seen a top in this semi-finals just yet. We are now into our 10th rotation. We welcome Debbie Tan from SIT onto the mat. We have Patrice and Daryl on the screen now. Daryl Ng is on her second route, and we have Patrice on route 3. So on route 2, as I mentioned before, just starting that route is difficult because it is in itself a run start up to the start towel. And for route 2, it is running up to the start towel and then having to descend down to the next hole. So it's really about going up and then after that having to fight gravity to come back down. Florence currently on her final route. And you would think, right, it looks really nice because the start hole is this huge Mickey Mouse looking thing that we have on the wall. But it really is incredibly difficult to hold because the edges of the circle are just nice that it makes the hand very difficult to wrap around it. Daryl has made it past the start. Patrice still trying to go for the volume. And what we have here with the volume is that she really has to compress after she catches it. And the thing is, to compress with your hands spanned out in such a wide position can be very difficult because your shoulders are actually very far away from your hands. And to be able to activate them very fast is the most difficult, one of the more difficult things to do. And we have Debbie, our third climber, who has made it up to the top. She has 1 minute, less than a minute. She needs to get this, she needs to get the top in this attempt. And Debbie Tan, will she do it? It's our first top for route 1. We have seen our first top in route 1. And the crowd goes wild. Debbie did that route with 30 seconds to spare, so she's gonna get 4 minutes. 4 minutes to rest before her next problem. She's happy, she's very happy. Daryl's still pushing it, still going for it. 20 seconds left. 15 seconds left on the clock. And you wonder, if you're wondering why they still fight and fight down to the very end, it really is, oh, she missed her bonus just by the whistle. It really is that if they can get that bonus, getting that bonus tile could really make it or break it for them in their qualifying positions for the finals. They need to come in top 6, and that bonus tile could very easily make the difference between 7 and 6. Now into our 11th rotation, we welcome Felicia Lim from All Sports Equipment Climber Rig Nutrition Depot to the mat. On screen, we have Tiffany Soy on her second route, and we have Uyanga on route 3, and we have Felicia. We see Felicia there, she just went all the way up. No sweat. If I'm not wrong, this is her first attempt. She might be the first woman to flash this problem. She made the beginning look so easy. And that's the thing, sometimes a particular move is actually your style, and then that particular move becomes, hey, easy peasy. But then after that, the next bit of the route could be a mad struggle, and that mad struggle could make it or break it. But Felicia is holding on. She is holding on to that tile. She is not letting go. And she has less than 2 minutes left, but still less than 2 minutes, still more than a minute and a half. And if she can stay up there and figure out a way to finish this route, as long as she is up on that wall, it is still a single attempt. It is still the same attempt as long as she does not come down. Ploy going with a little bit. Allez, Felicia. Allez, Fel. Now, Felicia is climbing for All Sports Equipment. All Sports Equipment is one of the sponsors of SMU Gravical. They bring you brands like Petzl and some of the gear that Felicia is wearing. Oh dear. She came very close. She has less than a minute left. But as I mentioned before, to stay up there for such a long time would have taken quite a bit out of her. To stay in that position at that angle, it's a very weird and very awkward angle, because you're neither flat, neither are you under a roof. And I'm not sure if she's going to try again. No, she's not going to try again. Is Tiffany going to try again? Ploy is still going at it, and Tiffany is done. Ploy is still going for it on her fourth problem.
10 seconds. Four, 3, 2, 1, and we rotate.
And we are into our 12th rotation, welcoming out to the floor Farah Hanisa from SUSS. On screen right now, you have Farah as well as Daryl on her third problem of the semifinals. Daryl Ngwe is climbing for Team Onsite, and she is an open woman climber that we haven't seen quite often in the last year because she hasn't been around. So she happens to be around this January, taking the opportunity to compete in the first competition of the school comms season, SMU Gravical 2018. On her final route of the semis, we have Patrice. Whoa! We saw Farah go for the jump. It was quite a bad hit. Patrice stepping up. You see how Patrice is trying to hold the top of the start. It really is just slightly bigger than her hand, making it a little bit difficult for her to pinch it. And what she has to do is really hold on quite tight. And then after that, she still has to move her hands. And we have Daryl, who's made it up to... We're taking a look at a replay now of the climber. Whoa. So we saw she basically slipped off the lower volume as she was jumping for it. Basically what happens is they have to step very, very hard. They have to put a lot of weight into their feet in order to use their feet effectively. But when they do that, sometimes the hold in itself, the volume in itself is a little bit wet, a little bit slippery, and the foot slips. And so she almost actually slammed her face into the volume, but thankfully she's still climbing. She's still going at it on her route. It is a good thing that she's still able to keep going, because that would have been quite a bad injury should she have hit the volume. Daryl is back up again to where she was previously. She needs to get. She's so close. Route 3 is really a compression of a volume after another compression, moving from big volume to big volumes. Patrice came quite close to starting that. There's 10 seconds left. Debbie is chasing for her bonus.
3, 2, 1.
Now we are in to our 13th rotation. We welcome to the mat one of our smallest open women climbers, Patama from Thailand. She is not just tiny, she is also very, very young. She's a very young climber, and we're seeing more and more of these very young climbers step to the open circuit. When in the climbing competitions, the young ones are very, very strong, giving the young at heart a bit of a run for their money. But it is quite inspirational to be able to see these young climbers stepping up to the plate with no fear of climbing with veterans, people climbing who have been climbing for so much longer compared to them. And Tiffany has made it up. She's a nice heel there on the volume. She gets past the volume. Patama gearing up. Tiffany moving on. Tiffany gets her bonus. Moving all the way up. This is a long problem. She's finished half the wall. Now she still has a little bit more to go. Another half to go. It was a brilliant attempt for Tiffany, making it up to half the problem. Patana going for it. Tiffany trying to figure out how she can move forward. But Tiffany is also on her third route now. Uyanga making it up the fourth. Giving it a good mantle to the bonus. Route 5 is also quite a long route. Once she gets to the bonus, she has an entire section more to go. Route 4, yes, Route 4. And she gets her, no, what Uyanga really needs to do is she needs to latch that bonus towel in order to get it. Uyanga has to latch the bonus towel, and I think she's gotten close enough. I'm not sure if she got the bonus there on when she touched it previously. Might be worth if she wants to touch it again just to be safe. But you can see it took a lot out of her just to get into that position. And now she still has another wall left to complete. Felicia has just gotten up. She starts the route.
Very good attempt by Uyanga on route 4.
Uyanga's done.
15 seconds.
Felicia's also done. Tiffany's done. We are a couple of seconds into our 14th rotation, and we welcome to the plate our guest climber from Japan, Aya Ono. And on screen we have on route 2, Farah. In route 3 we have Debbie from SIT. Farah Hanisa from SUSS, and Aya just grabs that next second move. She just finishes the first move, moves on to the second move. She's at her bonus, chalking up. Easy peasy. Bit of a slip there. Then she just twists straight in. Having a bit of a slippery situation. The top of those holes are not the nicest. None of these holes are nice, let's be honest. Aya going very carefully. And she latches it. She flashes. The problem, with more than 2 minutes left on the clock, Aya now has 5.5 minutes to rest before she gets on to her next problem. Route 4, we have Daryl Ongwei from Team Onsite. And if you have just joined us, we are slightly over the halfway point of our Open Women Semifinals. Our Open Women Semi-finalists competed earlier this afternoon in the Open Women qualifiers right here at the SMU campus green for SMU Gravical 2018. We have Farah trying a very interesting beta to get to the start tile because I think she has had problem running up to touch it. So she's trying a sit-in and a stand. It was a very nice static attempt, and she's gonna try it again. So basically, as long as she gets her 2 hands up there and her 2 feet on the foothold without touching any other tile, she's safe. So it may be a run start, but if she gets this, there's a possibility of a static beta, as we call it, static way of doing this start. Unfortunately, she has only 20 seconds left, and she might not be able to get very far if she manages to get to the start. But it's really good effort. She's done. She's decided to call it. Daryl is still there, trying to use the side wall.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we're done. Moving on to our 15th rotation with Tan Shi Hui joining us from Climb Asia. Patama back on route 2. On route 3 we have Felicia. On screen currently, we have Shi Hui on Route 1 as well as Felicia on Route 3. Now, Felicia got up Route 1 quite easily. She did the jump and the coordination quite easily, but she faced a problem closer to the top. Let's see how she fares on Route 3. Route 3 is a bit of both, a bit of dynamic, but also needing to latch on compression. It is one big volume after another. A lot of fast movements required in Route 3, having your right and left meet each other at the same time, which is a common thing that we have seen in most of the open women and open men routes today. Felicia and Shi Hui both working at trying to get up. We have Tiffany on Route 4, using that side wall. Same place Uyanga was just now. Look at that flexibility displayed from Tiffany. She's trying to get her foot up onto the ball we have there. Shi Hui gets the jump. Now comes the second half. I think we saw a very nice finish from Aya just now, just latching that top tile. Top hold, is Shi Hui going to be able to latch it? And she does. Now she needs to match. She needs to match it, and she gets it. Tiffany gets her bonus. We have Patama on Route 2, our tiny Thailand climber. Tiffany making it. So if you can see where Tiffany's foot is, she just tried to attempt to step on the really small triangle that's right there. But the thing about the triangle, we've been talking this whole day about dual text tiles, and the side of the tile that is facing her is actually smooth. So she cannot, and she's trying to hold on to the other side of that hold, but she can't, because where you see the alphabet, it's actually smooth plastic. But Tiffany makes it across. She's very close to the top. It's in her reach. It's a very small screw-on at the top. Very dicey finish. Small pin. She needs to get it. Oh! She came so close. Tiffany came so close to the end. She had one hand on there and she slipped just at the buzzer. Route 1, joining us now in our 16th rotation is Shi Li Ting. So we are down to our final 5 climbers. So these would be the climbers that came in top 5 just now in the open women qualifiers. On your screens, we have Debbie on her final route, and we have Aya Ono, our Japanese guest climber, just smoothly sailing. Just sailing across to her bonus. It is interesting, Aya has chosen to hold the top of the bonus tile instead of holding the pocket. Aya is so close to the top, and she tops it. So as we move into our top 10 qualifying for the Open Women qualifiers, we realize that the climbers are getting stronger, visibly stronger, and these are the top 10 who qualified. We are about to give you a quick replay of Aya Ono's finish. We have her there. And our first finish on this top, easy, stepping. And if you realize, she steps on the smooth section of the hole. So the bonus hole has a pocket. It's very difficult to hold, but what she did was she just held the entire hold. She held the smooth part of the dual texture, which is an interesting feat. It's very impressive. I guess that's why she's our Japanese guest climber. A very common face in the World Cup circuit. You will also see Rei Sugimoto climb tomorrow in the Open Men semi-finals. Another very, very common face in the World Cup circuit, both from Team Japan. Here on Route 4, we have Debbie. I think she's the only one left with last 10 seconds. She's still going for it. Oh no, she was trying to run for her bonus. She finally got up there, but a little bit too late. And joining us on the mat in our 17th rotation, also qualifying top 4 just now, is Jeanette Goh from All Sports Equipment. And right now on screen we have her as well as Patama. I think with the cutest chalk bag we've seen in this entire open qualies and semis. I think it's a bunny rabbit. Cleaning off her shoes. Now if you can take a look at what Patama is stepping on, those footholds at the bottom. If you can see the color of the footholds right now, they look a little bit grayish. It's actually a lot of built up chalk and built up rubber, which actually makes the foothold slippery. So they really have to step even harder now onto those footholds in order to use them. But again, stepping harder means more weight and more pressure. Shi Hui is racing up, taking a rest. Have Felicia trying to get to the second hole in Route 4 on her final route. Shi Hui pinching, stepping on top. And she is our second climber to top Route 2 with just over 1.5 minutes left. With Jeanette and Patama trying to get up. Jeanette stepping back up to the start. Felicia going to step back to the starting hole. Jeanette coming so close to getting that jump. It really is so many things happening at the same time. Your right hand has to catch the hole, your left hand has to base the wall, your left leg has to move up on the volume, your right leg has to hit the box. It is 4 different things happening at the same time. She comes close, and that's why we call it coordination. It really is coordinating every single limb. Felicia has made it past the bonus. Shortly, we had Tiffany, and Felicia comes down. Joining us in our 18th rotation, also qualifying in 3rd place for our Open Women's qualifiers, is Vanessa Tang, Kinetics Climbing and SMU. Moving on to her second route, we have Shi Li Ting. On route 3, we have Aya Ono. And on her final route, we have Farah Hanisa. Let's take a look at Aya, who has performed incredibly in these semi-finals, finishing her problems with 2 minutes left to spare on both Route 1 and Route 2. And Vanessa has topped Route 1, easily topped Route 1. Aya has moved on to the second half of the problem already. And she slips, but she got up there so quickly. She still has 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. Farah on Route 4, absolutely stumped by how to start the problem. It really is quite difficult to start, and I think that is similar to Route 2. For Route 4, Route 2 is a run up start. It's slightly off the floor, but for Route 4, I think how they start really affects how they get up to the second hole. How they choose to start, whether they put their right leg up or their left leg up, or how they choose to move from the start, really affects whether they are able to stick the second hold. Shi Li Ting making it up. Aya giving it another go with Route 3. And Li Ting tops Route 2. We will be replaying now Li Ting's top. Aya's top. Aya hasn't topped. Aya slipped. Aya's about, she made it and she slips. She basically slips off the hold. And it really is, in that position, what she has to do is she has to step hard, but also latch onto the hold, and she's quite far away. And of course, we have gravity that is against her. It also means that she is tired right now. She has her last 20 seconds, but she's done. She's sat down. Farah is still going for it at Route 4. And right to the very end. All right. We are now replay of Li Ting's top. Easy, easy. Now, that second last hole, we've been seeing a lot of climbers have a very big problem with pinching it, because it really is quite a fat pinch, and it's not just the finger strength, but it's also the contact strength of the palm and the rest of the hand to be able to stick that hold. Also, the holes are getting quite chalky right now, and too much chalk is not a good thing. Too much of a good thing is bad, basically. It applies to climbing as well. Too much pressure is bad. Too much chalk is bad. It really needs to be just right. It has to be precise, so precise. We are now in our 19th rotation. Joining us on the mat is Nadia Putri, Team All Sports. And Team All Sports is one of the sponsors for SMU Gravical 2018, and they bring you brands like Petzl. So if you joined us in the very beginning, you would have seen the really cool Petzl advertisement for the Gree devices. I love that advertisement. It's the cutest thing ever. I have the Grigri Plus only because it's a girl. And if you watch the advertisement, you will know why. We have Pratama, a tiny climber. And Nadia just races up there. She's quite happy she's gotten the move. She races up to the bonus. Pratama getting to the bonus. And the way they are interacting with the bonus, I think previously when Uyanga tried to go for the bonus, I told you I wasn't quite sure if she got it because she barely touched it and then she moved away from it. And we have a top from Nadia on Route 1. But if you take a look at what Pratama did, Pratama also kind of just grazed the tile with her, she just kind of touched it with her hand. And I have a feeling it's just a really horrible tile to hold. Which puts them in a little bit of a dangerous situation because they need to be stable and hold on to the bonus for 2 to 3 seconds in order for them to get it. So I'm not sure. And we have Jeanette topping Route 2. Very satisfied, relief on her face. Pratama trying to step on that foothold, realizing that it's just smooth. Now she's definitely gotten the bonus. She's held on to it to rest for quite a while now. And she's trying to move on. Look at that flexibility. Her legs open from hole to hole. Being flexible in climbing is very, very helpful because it lets you move leg first, which is exactly what Pratama just did, moving leg first. She has 20 seconds left. She is the only climber left up on the walls right now. She has 20 seconds left. She has 15 seconds left. The crowd, and she falls. Amazing attempt on Route 4. Similar attempt to Tiffany just now, who fell right at the buzzer. We are now in our final rotation, and welcoming to the mat is common competition face Judith Sim. And she is our final climber in the Open Semifinals, which means she also qualified first in the Open qualifiers, Open Women qualifiers. Next to her on screen, we have Route 3 with Xu Liting. You can see her shadow. It's like Peter Pan moment right there. You can see her shadow. And there she's stepping up to the plate. What she was doing is she was taking a step back to really take a look at the problem. And in climbing, there is a set of moves that climbers can do. Judith has just clinched the bonus. Liting has also gotten her bonus. And all of these problems is basically a mixture of all these various moves that climbers learn how to do over the years. Nice grab from Judith. Fighting very hard. We've seen some very good fights up on this final hold. And she latches it now to match with a toe hook on her bonus. Vanessa very close to the top. And she tops it. We have Aya at the bottom of Route 4. Aya gets the ball. Aya is not a stranger to the rotational format. If anything, all she has been doing is competing in the rotational format. Interesting thing is that she just mantled that. She just mantled the big ball to go up. I think that's a first that we've seen today. Using her legs to hug. Unfortunately, she slips. She has 50 seconds left. And I'm not sure about Aya, but Rei Sugimoto, the male climber from Japan, was actually saying that he's never competed in a flash or session format before. And I'm not sure if that's similar for Aya. So qualifying might have been a new experience for her this round. It's also both their first time competing in a Singapore local school, school organized competition. Aya gets her bonus. She's got 17 seconds left, 13 seconds left, 10 seconds. She's gonna try and go for it. And we see her just dismount off the wall. She knows she's not gonna get it in time. And that was Aya's final route for this Open Women's Semi-Finals. Okay, let's have a quick look at the score. If you would like the live score, you can go to gravical.crimp.rocks and basically search for Open Women's Semi-Finals, which is happening right now. Currently in the top position, we have Aya. She's flashed both her routes and gotten bonus for all 4 of the problems. Following close by is Vanessa. Then Li Ting, Shi Hui, Judith, and Nadia. Judith and Nadia, as well as Shi Hui, are still climbing. So is Jeanette, who is currently just inching in at 7th place. Nadia has made it past the beginning. Nadia has an interesting style of climbing. Once she gets something and she knows she's gotten it, she's quite fast. She's really quite quick up the wall. But when she's not sure, she has a moment where she stops, like now. Well, some of the other climbers you've seen move quite at the same pace through the entire route. Jeanette up on route 3. She gets the volume. And a heel on that screw-on right there. A nice heel, moving on to stepping on it. Now she has to move to the next volume. And it's quite taxing, route 3, because the bonus in itself is about 3 to 4 cruxes away before they actually get to their first checkpoint. So it's almost as if, like, once they get to the bonus, it's like, man, there's still another entire wall that I have to complete. And we have Nadia going up as well in a very static way. She's got 30 seconds left. She's gonna try and go again. Jeanette has made it past the first half. She's moving on to the last section of the problem. There's a small screw-on that triangle there. Shi Hui has stuck. Shi Hui is going to try and go for bonus. And Jeanette and Shi Hui both fall just as the whistle blows. On route 2 now, we have Judith. And we have Vanessa on route 3. As well as Shi Li Ting on her final problem of the night. On screen, we have Vanessa and Judith. So on that start tile on Route 2, there's 2 little dots. You might not be able to see it very clearly on your screen, but there's 2 little dots on the start tile, and that's really what they're aiming for. They're aiming for that 2 little dots in order to stick that start tile when they run up. And it's really balance. They have to balance up once they've gotten up and they've gotten that traction on that tile. Then they have to balance and stay there before they can continue moving again. Because even at the start, they have to make sure they are very stable or it's considered a false start. And Vanessa is very close. She's finished the first half. Judith there with the pinch. And she gets the top on Route 2. All right, we're bringing you back to that start so you can see. Yeah, you can see there's two dots, not the ones in the middle, but the ones on the side, the bigger ones. And that's really what they're aiming for. They're aiming for that when they go up, and what they do is they either put their fingers on those 2 dots on their palm to get enough traction in that palm so they can balance both their feet with both feet and 2 hands before they can actually start the route. So there's not much for them to hold on to, basically, which is why that route has been proven to be quite difficult to start. It's also all that power going up and then having to control the blowback of that power. Li Ting trying to go up to Route 4. They have just under a minute left. We're actually very, very close to the end of our Open Women's Semifinals. Very, very close. And it's also the last event that we have for today. Of course, there's still tomorrow, starting bright and early with our Open Men Semifinals. I think it's worth noting that these women climbers actually climbed just now in the afternoon as well. So they've had quite a bit of energy taken out of them already. Li Ting going up, she's done. Thrown herself off the wall. She knows she's not going to make it in time. And sometimes it's unfortunate when you get it right close to the end, it's just not enough time left. On screen, we have Nadia just checking out her route. Like I said previously, climbing really is an array of movements, like different steps and different kinds of moves. And what all these routes do is they take these movements and they break them down and shuffle them up and put them into a new, almost like a choreography, I guess, that the climbers have to figure out. And at an open standard, you would have spent enough time climbing enough problems to know these moves. So what they do when they step aside is they are trying to envision what they would do on the wall. Would they put their right hand here? Would they put their left hand there? Would they jump for it? Would they move in a dynamic position, in a dynamic way? Would they try and move in a static way? And all this comes from experience, because if you don't know what the move looks like, you can't really step back and imagine it. You can't imagine something you don't actually have experience with. So this comes with experience, and it's worth noting that these climbers are from the open category, which means most of them have promoted out of the novice category and the intermediate category over their years of climbing. And the very young climbers, some of them are actually newly minted open climbers, possibly just last year, some even maybe in the very last competition of 2017. So for some of these open climbers, it might be their first time up. But we can see the sheer strength and talent and how inspirational their fight is up on the wall. And to be honest, a lot of this is not so much about getting into the finals, as much as all of them really want to get into the finals. The key to their bouldering is that they want to solve the problem. That is where the satisfaction lies. The satisfaction lies in solving the problem. So even to the very end, if you know you've not topped any route, you still want to fight with everything, because the satisfaction really comes from when you finish the problem. Not so much whether you get into finals or you get into the semi-finals. But of course, this is a competition, and getting into the finals is always a good thing. And Nadia gets it. She's moving on. She has 30 seconds left. She's going to at least get her bonus. I'm sure she's going to get her bonus. I'm not sure if she touched the bonus. But she should have at least gotten her bonus there. Jeanette is at the top, very top. She's got 10 seconds left. And she touches it and the crowd goes wild. And it's our first top on Route 4, just in time for the semi-finals to come close to ending. And we have Vanessa now up on her final route of the Open Women's semi-finals. If you are listening at home and you've listened at home the whole day today, do know that we have one more day tomorrow, so do come down. We start bright and early at 9:25. It is the Open Men semi-finals, so I'm not sure what the crowd is going to be like. It is also very early, so there might not be that many people, but there might also be, because the Open category is a very exciting and inspiring category, and many climbers do come down and watch our climbers fight it out with the wall. So do come down if you can make it tomorrow morning. We start bright and early at 9 o'clock. Vanessa starting Route 4. We've seen many different ways, a couple of different ways going up to Route 4. Some have tried to jump for it. Some have tried to slowly mantle up to the ball. Some have tried to go up with one hand. I think the same goes to say for Route 3. So we can kind of have a good idea of what is the niche and the different favorite styles of the climbers. Vanessa going up slowly, but slipping off the bottom. Judith has made it up. Jude has made it to up the blue volume, or purple volume. I've been told quite a number of times that it's purple. No, I must disagree. It's blue. Okay, but many people have told me it's purple. It's blue. Come on, guys. Blue. Fine, it's purple. So I know. Talking to myself now. Judith has 1 minute left. So I just had a question. So basically, I have people on comms with me who are talking to me. So if I sound like I'm talking to myself sometimes, but in response to someone else, I'm not, okay? I'm not that crazy. But basically, they've asked me if Route 3 is purple, if Route 3 is blue, what is Route 4? So Route 3 is a dark blue and Route 4 is a light blue. Are you happy now? They just asked me if it's purple or gold. I'm sorry, there's no gold in the wall. It's only yellow. And we're done. We are done with both Judith and Vanessa.
2, 1.
Nadia is on her final route. She is also the only climber up at the moment, so we are coming very, very close to the end. Once you see climbers start to diminish, you realize we're getting very, very close to the end. Let's have a quick look at our live score, and if you would like to join me on the live score, it is gravical.crim.rocks, and we have Aya still in the lead. We'll definitely be seeing her in the semi-finals tomorrow. I mean finals, semi-finals. We'll be seeing her in the finals tomorrow. I don't think she wants to climb another semi-finals. Nadia, nice knee jam and drop knee on her left side. Little frog position she's got there. That is incredibly taxing on her glutes and her thighs, especially her calves. Very, very taxing to stay in that position. I'd love to tell you what the live score is, but my phone's not loading. So let me just go check it out yourself. Oh, there we go. We have a nice view of Nadia now because she's really the only one on the wall. A very nice close-up view of her. Appears to be the only one on the wall. And everyone in the top 6 has 2 tops. If Nadia gets this top, there's a very high chance she might get into the finals if she gets this top. Oh. She still has a minute and 10 seconds left, just slightly over a minute. Not sure, she definitely can go again, but as I mentioned previously, who's this we I speak of? As I mentioned previously, it is very hard to stay up on the wall. It takes a lot out of the climbers to stay up on the wall, and the reason why they fight so hard to stay up on the wall is because their attempts count. A single attempt could determine whether they are in the 6th place or the 7th place. She's done. With 30 seconds left on the clock, she's done. So in order to get to as far as she got just now, the speed she was moving, it was very, very taxing on her body and her core and her balance. And after that, when she comes down, even though she has a minute and a half left, in fact, sometimes you look in the clock and you're like, there's still 1 minute and a half. Okay, we're currently looking at Judith and Vanessa on the screen. Judith with the top. That was a replay of Judith's top. Just nice we have her back up. She will be the final climber of this evening. On her final route, she did very well in the qualifying. She came first. If I am not wrong, let me just make sure I'm not wrong. She was only one out of the 2 climbers who finished all the 5 routes in the open qualifiers just now. But as Judith is the final climber, it is safe to say, I think, that she is in the finals tomorrow because she's currently in 4th position on the scoreboard. Unless this switches all of a sudden, she will definitely be in the finals as of right now. She's gotten up. And let's just see, do a quick look. Route 3, we did not see a top on Route 3 at all this semi-finals. But every other problem was topped at least once. There we have again, nice close-up view of Judith. A look of concentration on her face. Every attempt is so precious. I really believe it's not so much because of the score. The score definitely, attempts really count, but it really is the energy needed for a single attempt. Of course, if you can finish the route in a single attempt, that means you're done. You don't have to go back up again. But if you can, and it took a lot out of you to get up, then it's going to take even more now for you to try and get up again. Less than 30 seconds left. I think she's done. And that is the end of our Open Women's Semifinals. Check out the live scoring for the top 6 and catch them tomorrow in the Open Finals. Right now, we're going to take you through some of our moments that we have. We have Debbie here. Nice top for Debbie right there. Clinching that. Aya did this quite quickly. She also did a little bit of a fast move, slightly dynamic, and she latched it, having to pull back. There we go. She pulls back, sticks her foot there. Very happy. Very, very happy face. Shi Hui. Lots of tops we saw on Route 1. Shi Hui latches it. Now that towel looks like it's nice to latch, but after that, matching it is really the ticker right there. She gets it. This is quite a nice rush, actually. And there she goes, stepping on the top. Easy, very easy, rushing to the top, knowing that she's gotten it already. Now, let me just finish it. And Shi Hui as well, pinching and cupping that tile. Very strong climber. She tops it. Judith. It was an amazing fight with Judith. She came back and forth on this problem quite a bit, and then she clinched it. And she did a toe hook on the bottom bonus, which is not something we saw in this finals. Let's see that again with a toe hook. There we go, right at the bottom. That's really knowing how to use your feet right there. Vanessa, nice top. She went out with her left hand first. Most of the climbers went out with their right hand. And here we have Judith. You can see totally different position from what we saw Vanessa in just now. She goes out with her right hand first and ending with the left, which is what we saw, which is the major climbing that we saw today. Jeanette, 3 attempts. And she tops Route 4. That was a nice top with a toe. And that is it. That was it for our Open Women's Semifinals. Thank you for joining me on the live stream today. It was nice talking to all of you. All the routes that you saw today were put together by Kinetics Climbing, their team of route setters from Kinetics Climbing. And Kinetics is at Serangoon Road, very close to Farrer Park. So if you like what you saw today and you really liked what you saw on the walls, they have similar problems that range from V0 to V12 all the way up for beginner to intermediate to advanced and crazy hardcore climbers. And the team that came together with Kinetics is Jinla, Jaco, and we have Moses, that also route setter, but we must not forget our guest route setter, Tobias Dittler, who hails all the way from Germany. We also have all sports equipment that brings us Petzl. We had a couple of climbers today that were climbing under all sports equipment. So these are sponsored athletes by all sports equipment. Also, if you did not join us today, you should really come down tomorrow and take a look at our booths. We have Red Bull flying around somewhere. I noticed lots of people with Red Bull cans today, so Red Bull's around here somewhere. And we have a NutriFirst and fish snack. I have fish snack today. Fish snack's actually quite good. You guys should go buy a bowl. It's quite filling, quite nice. They're set up right next to the canopy, but you have to join us here in order to enjoy fish snack and NutriFirst and Red Bull, as well as Active Cool. For the first time, I believe it's the first time in tertiary climbing competitions where there is actual merchandise. So Active Cool has put together some really sleek looking merchandise for SMU Gravical 2018 with caps and t-shirts and even sweatpants for climbers, as well as I think for just general casual wear. So if you'd like to purchase some of them, you have to come down as well. If you're not sure what they look like, they have a couple of pictures up on their Facebook and their Instagram. And with that, we have come to the end of today. My name is Alison, and do join us back tomorrow on Facebook and on YouTube, starting bright and early in the morning with our Open Men semi-finals. Tomorrow we also have all our finals, our under 17, our novice finals, our intermediate finals, and finally ending off the night with our Open finals. So do check back in tomorrow. If you can come down, do come down. The atmosphere here is going to be crazy. It is also not hot and humid like it usually is. It's kind of cool and chilly, and you will love the atmosphere that we have going on here. So do come down, but if you cannot make it, do join us online. And we'll catch you tomorrow. Good night.
Le montant, c'était sympa. Encore les collants, les harnais fluo, les chaussettes dans les chaussons.
Heureusement, ça n'a pas duré, ça.
Ah, ouais. Et tu te rappelles l'histoire de l'Américain qui était...
Oh, c'est bon, là, ça fait 25 ans qu'on les entend, vos histoires. Je suis sûr qu'il va encore nous raconter la fois où il a arrêté la chute du gars qui tombe en essayant de clipper
le relais avec sa corde dans la main. Oui.
Ah, mais faut se bouger, là, la grimpe, c'est en Espagne que ça se passe. Tiens, d'ailleurs, quand j'étais en train de taper un run dans mon projet la semaine dernière...
Qui c'est qui vient avec moi à la falaise?
Mais qui t'es, toi?
Ils m'ont barré le chemin, ils m'ont barré le chemin, ils m'ont barré le chemin. I just returned from Yosemite, California, where I free climbed a route on El Capitan called Golden Gate. And today I'm going to tell you what was in my haul bag during our 6-day ascent. So first of all, I had a pretty heavy-duty haul bag for carrying all the stuff with me up the cliff for 6 days. A sleeping bag, probably 15 degree or so for sleeping at night. MSR reactor stove for boiling water. I brought really good ground coffee with me and an AeroPress. So every morning this was the first thing I did. Justin's nut butters, because I love them and they're super easy to carry. Voke caffeine tabs, could not live without those things. They definitely kept me going during some dark moments. A little bit of a skin kit, so super glue, tape, and ibuprofen for maintaining my skin. Petzl Tika XP headlamp. I also always carry a medical kit with me up there. If any sort of injury happens, you need to know how to deal with it pretty soon. A waist case, which is for going to the bathroom. We never went to the bathroom on the wall and left it there. We carried it with us the whole way. We climbed with a 9.8 millimeter rope, Petzl Contact, 70 meters. I used a Hirundos harness, a Meteor helmet. I climbed with a helmet at all times on El Cap. My La Sportiva women's Mira Velcros. Number 6 Camelot was probably my most favorite and my least favorite piece of gear that I brought with me, because this was what I climbed the monster off with. Absolutely terrifying and horrific and torturous. Another piece of gear that was absolutely essential was the micro traction. It was for hauling the bag. It's super light and small. Petzl Grigri 2. A Petzl Reverso for belaying the second, also for rappelling and any sort of emergencies with 2 attaché beaners attached, lockers. 2 Ascension aiders for jumaring and also for hauling the bag. And then, of course, a standard rack of cams and nuts. This is what was in my haul bag, and this is essentially what got me up Golden Gate.
Ils m'ont barré le chien, sois toujours, croyez pas, toujours, croyez.